Ever since we started doing YouTube, we've had a lot of comments from people saying, hey, your Blue Yeti microphone, you have it oriented wrong. Don't point it directly at you, it has to be up and down. Well, I've taken some of your feedback and some of your comments to heart. Luke and I have tested this in the past, and we just thought that this is what sounded better. But as you can see, I have it the way that you guys said to do it. Now, I'm going to test this. I'm going to take a look at this footage and see if you were correct or if I'm correct. Well, that's a bit of a difference there. I've been doing this for 2 years. Good evening, campers, streamers, and babysitters, and welcome back to another recommendation list. This time being a bit of a twist on the standard recommendation list. Yes, I am going to be recommending 5 films, but it's kind of the context of why I'm recommending these movies that's going to be a bit different. Whether you're a horror movie fan or just a casual viewer of horror films, we have all sat in a room watching our main protagonist fumble and make mistakes against a slasher, a monster, or a supernatural entity, and we've all just said, man, how could you be so stupid? How are you not surviving this? How are you not out of that situation? Yes, we've all done it, and I am certainly guilty of this too, especially when I'm around a group of friends and I'm just trying to assert my alpha male energy. That alpha male mindset, grindset, whatever they call it these days, that is 100% me right here. I'm the tough guy. I'm the guy that's going to kick Jason's ass. I'm going to kick Michael's ass. But there are a couple of caveats there. And I thought, hey, you know what'd be fun? Why don't we talk about 5 films that I know for certain I would not survive? Yes, these are 5 movies I know without a shadow of a doubt I would get my shit rocked in. No questions. I'm terrified. Don't want to be in these situations. I am screaming like a little girl. 100%. And as always, before we hop into the list, thank you for checking out this video. If you are new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button, give this video a like, and share it with some of your friends who you think also might share in my fear of these 5 horror films. So let's hop into it, shall we, folks? Kicking things off at number 5, we have 2018's Annihilation. A biologist signs up for a dangerous, secret expedition in which the laws of nature don't apply. I love me a good sci-fi horror film, and this one certainly scratches that itch for me. I fell in love with Annihilation the moment that I sat down in theaters and experienced it in full. I thought that this was a very unique, interesting, and awesome concept, and it actually presented a world that I thought would be so cool to explore in maybe a video game or something like that, until you really think about it. Yeah, no, the Shimmer is kind of awful in every facet of the imagination. Now, for those of you who don't know what the Shimmer is, I highly recommend that you check out the film, so maybe skip this entry. But yeah, let's just hop into a little bit of that, because it's essentially an alien entity that has crash landed here and is reconfiguring, restructuring every biological living thing from the smallest molecule. That's right, it's breaking things down, rearranging things. So that means that the moment you step into the Shimmer, you're getting rearranged, baby. Like, your shit is changing. We've got alligators with shark teeth. We've got all kinds of weird little plant monsters and things like that just chilling. They were plants. They were stick bugs or some shit at some point. Now they're not. They're something else. And unfortunately for us and our meat suits, that affects us in a very big way. Yeah, this movie, although being a bit more interesting than I would say scary, it's that concept alone that means that I don't think I'd make it very long in this film. And if it wasn't just that, if it's the fact that I'm going to walk in there and no matter what happens, I'm not coming out the same as I went in, if that's not scary enough for you, we gotta talk about this fucking bear. Yes, there's a bear in this film that it is horrifying. I'm already not the biggest fan of bears. Like, they are fine as animals, but I respect their distance. They respect my distance. I respect theirs. Let's just keep it that way, okay? Because, yeah, this movie, Holy fucking shit, this bear is terrifying. It's absolutely horrific. Not only in its looks, but the fact that it screams like its victims. It takes their voice and replicates it. Like, what the fuck is that? What kind of nightmare bullshit is this? Yeah, no. If it wasn't just the DNA shit, if it wasn't just switching up my molecules with whatever's, like, standing 5 feet away from me, it's that fucking bear. Any of this is all bad news for me. I know that I wouldn't make it more than probably a day or two in there before I'm completely consumed by the damn thing. So, yeah, I'm sorry, guys. I'm no Natalie Portman, but, yeah, I'm not making it out of Annihilation. Moving into my number 4 pick, we have 2016's Train to Busan. While a zombie virus breaks out in South Korea, passengers struggle to survive on a train from Seoul to Busan. I've thought long and hard about a zombie apocalypse scenario and just what my odds of survival are, and I think it really just comes down to the factor of what kind of zombies are we dealing with here? Are we dealing with, Walking Dead, Return of the Living Dead kind of zombies where they're a bit slow, they're a bit, easier to maneuver as long as it's not a horde? Or are we talking about zombies in the sense of like 28 Days Later, Train to Busan, World War Z, where they're really fast and they're mean and they just crawl all over each other just trying to get at your delicious organs? That's a pretty big factor. And yeah, Train to Busan is... it's that, plus being caught on a bullet train. Yeah, no, I'm good on that. I really don't want to ever be caught in a situation with zombies, but I never want to be caught in a situation where I'm dealing with zombies in a confined space, because that just limits the amount of room I can put between me and the meat munchers. Like, I'm fucked. Look at me. I'm like, 40 pounds overweight or some shit like that. I'm getting my shit torn out and I'm getting eaten, boys. Like, that's gonna happen if I'm on a train and I'm trying to maneuver not just around people, but luggage and chairs. And not to mention, these things are vicious in this movie. Now, this movie's great, and it's got a gut punch of an ending that, it traumatized me the first time I saw it. But this movie certainly made me think, count my lucky stars that I am not in a situation like this, let alone in a zombie apocalypse scenario. But again, on a train, it's the only thing that could be worse is a plane, because, getting off the train, maybe it'll stop and then maybe you have, they even do that in the movie. You're fucked. You're just fucked, kid. I'm sorry. That's just what it is. I'm done. Moving right along into my number 3 pick with 2007's 30 Days of Night. After an Alaskan town is plunged into darkness for a month, it is attacked by a bloodthirsty gang of vampires. Just like zombies, when it comes to vampires, I think it just really comes down to what you're dealing with. And I think that I could confidently fight some vampire types from some movies, but not these ones. No, these would definitely... what's the word I'm looking for? Actually, it's a phrase I'm looking for. If you guys are familiar with old Dr. Wolfula, great channel, check him out. But he's got a saying that I think fits the description of these vampires perfectly. And that is to say that these vampires are savage as fuck. I love 30 Days of Night for a lot of reasons. I think that this movie kicks ass on so many levels, but I think it's just because you are in truly a very, very tough situation when it comes to what the scenario that is being presented here is. If I was in the shoes of our characters here, not only being in Alaska, not only it being the month-long darkness, but the fact that you're dealing with vampires, it's all just a bad mix. On top of that, it's freezing cold. I already get seasonal depression really bad, so like throw vampires on top of that are just ripping people's throats out left, right, and center, dragging them through the town, actually making people, like, using them as bait to try to get people out of there. There's a sequence where someone's character, like one of our human characters, I should say, their father has dementia and he forgets who he's around, and it's just, it's an awful, awful, awful time. Yeah, no, the cold, the vampires, the darkness, this is not my bag. I don't know if I would make it past the first night of the attack. I don't know. If I did, it wouldn't be much longer after that. I can't stand it. I really would just have a tough time dealing with these guys. I don't think I would make it through the 30 days. I gotta be real here, guys. This is a tough one. I don't think I could do this. I'm boned. Moving into my number 2 with 2024's Infested. Residents of a rundown French apartment building battle against an army of deadly, rapidly reproducing spiders. Yeah, this movie did some shit to me, okay? Because I'm not really afraid of spiders. I don't think I am, at least. At least I didn't think so. I love movies like Eight-Legged Freaks, Arachnophobia. Hell, I love Chamber of Secrets, even though those were some creepy-looking spiders. But this movie, I think, really rewired something in me. Because watching Infested earlier this year, if you go back and watch our review, I will say that this movie terrified me. It did. It got under my skin. I just hated it. I was watching a screener on my iPad in the dark. I had to check under my blankets, just feeling like things were crawling all over me. And ever since then, when I've rewatched this movie, no, this is, it still gets me, and I don't like that. I don't have that very often, and I give that full credit to the filmmaker and the filmmaking team for this film. You did your jobs, but if I had to be put in this situation, it's horrible. No, I don't want to be in this one. I don't want to be in any of these, but this one has a special kind of fucked up. And you know what I think is some of the best parts of this is, for about 90% of this movie, we are dealing with realistically sized spiders. I'm a little bit more, like, I guess, a suspension of disbelief as we get into these spider films and the spiders get bigger and they get to, like, human size. Yeah, it's less scary for me then, but the fact that we're dealing with spiders that could just crawl up your back, crawl under your arms, it's no good. I don't like it. I think that they're ugly little fuckers. I understand that they have, their place in our society, in our ecosystem. I respect that, just like I respect bears. But it's just, no, I don't want to deal with these, especially because these ones, they bite you, and then they swarm you, and they just keep biting you, and you just get all this venom in you, and it's messed up. I mean, the hallway scene alone in this just makes my skin crawl. I hate it. I don't want to touch their webs. I don't want to be in anything. But beyond the hallway scene, there's a sequence in this film where they're going up steps and the walls are covered in these spiders. And every time they flash the light at them, the spiders stop. But the idea of this, like, wall, this dark wall of these poisonous, malevolent spiders coming after you, no, not at all. Please, God, no. Now we are at my number 1 pick for 5 horror films I certainly would not survive in. And I know I'm not alone with this one. I know there's going to be people who agree with me, and that is 2005's The Descent. A caving expedition goes horribly wrong as the explorers become trapped and ultimately pursued by a strange breed of predators. I believe what I guess my fear type, if you want to say, is defined as thalassophobia. Now, normally that deals with the ocean. I think that primarily deals with the ocean, but just being in a large body of water and not being able to see what's under you. Now, I don't know what it is. I'm lying. I know exactly what it is. But The Descent gives me the same feeling of fear that thalassophobia does. I hate watching this movie in the dark by myself. I hate it. I love it because it's exhilarating every time I watch it, and it's fun, and I know the parts that are coming, but I hate it. I hate the idea of this situation as a whole. You're going to a cave that's undocumented, so people don't know where you're at. You guys are fucking around, and you fall down a crevice, and you get trapped. one of you gets injured. You're going along, you're finding old mining equipment, you're finding all these handwritten messages carved into the walls, and then you come across Gollum's siblings, cousins, whatever you want to call them, and they just start attacking you in the darkness, and it's awful. This movie is one of those universal films that I can say I know more people who have told me this is like the scariest movie they've ever seen, and for good reason. It gets me too. Again, I love it. It's definitely one of my all-time favorites, but it does its job. And to be in a situation where you're lost in a cave system, miles below, the surface of the earth, and you have to contend with these creatures that are perceivably blind, but they have such great smell and they have such great hearing that they can just track you down. And there's just dozens of them. There's like a whole society of them under the ground there. No, dude, like if the moment that we get trapped in the cave and it doesn't seem like we can just get out, my heart is already beating out of its chest. Like I feel like I'm going to die. Like my lungs are closing up. It's over, dude. Like it's not happening. And again, I love this movie. I think that it absolutely works and it succeeds in what it's trying to do. But I need you guys to put yourself in that situation for a second. And you tell me, what are the odds? What are the odds that you get out of this? And what are the odds that once you're confronting these creatures, these little golems, that you're gonna now have to contend with that? Not to mention you're falling into just pits of blood and creature shit, and it's just all of these things combined. It's just making for a tough time. It really is, and I'm just not here for it. I'm checking out. I'm taking the pickaxe. I'm putting it right up here. I'm giving myself a lobotomy or something. Maybe I'm just jumping off a cliff or something. I don't know, dude. I'm out of there, all right? I'm done. Because once I see one of these things, once we get to a point where my fat ass has to shuffle through some crevices that are just a bit too tight and, something could fall and crash, it's over. It's over. I'm done. I'm not doing it. Goodbye. Good luck. I'll see you on the other side. There you have it, folks. There are 5 horror films that I would not survive. And I had a lot of fun with this one. I usually, like I always say, have fun with these lists. That's why I do them. I'm a little nervous because I feel like I just basically repeated myself a ton there by saying, no, fuck that, I'm out of there. But, I think hopefully if you've made it this far, the edit was satisfying and it was fun for you. And yeah, if you think so, give this video a like, hit that subscribe button, and of course, comment down below and let me know what horror films you would not survive in, most definitely. I definitely think if this works out, we could certainly make this a series. We could do a few of these. Maybe we could do some of these together on a live stream or something later. This could be a lot of fun. Because, yeah, I think this is cool. I think there's nothing wrong with humbling yourself a little bit and letting yourself get vulnerable and just be honest and say, yeah, maybe I'm not an alpha male. Maybe I'm just a guy. Maybe I'm just a dude. A guy who looks like Jack Black, I guess. You guys have been saying that a lot too. So, thanks. That's actually super kind. I love that. I love that guy. So, yeah. Definitely wouldn't survive these 5 films. Let me know what yours are down below. And yeah, that'll wrap it up for me, guys. So until next time, I'm Dylan Newell. And remember, stay scared.
Do the hard shit, gonna do it live. Cause Splattercast kick it every day they live. Splattercast, gonna slash your ass. 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 Splattercast, gonna slash your ass.